Wow.
Good morning.
I don't know. I think so. I think somebody's got to ask me to do it.
Yeah. Good morning.
Marion coming.
It's now 9 o'clock. I'd like to call the roll, please. Mayor Cantrell, Councilmember King, Director Barnes. Here. Director Duplessis. Director Johnson.
Here.
Director Guzman.
Here.
Director Pesha.
Here.
Director Sloss.
Here.
Director Howard. Here. Director Scholas.
Here.
Director Taylor. We have a quorum, and the first order of business is to nominate a director to serve as the chair for this meeting. Unfortunately, the mayor was unable to attend, as well as the president pro tem.
So I move to nominate Poco.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do I have to vote on myself? Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot to me.
Thanks for the confidence.
Okay. Thanks very much, Yolanda. So we need to have a motion, please, to approve the minutes of the April 2022 board meeting.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Kassan, will you please introduce Resolution 078-2022?
Gladly. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. So the resolution that you have in front of you this morning that we're seeking your approval for will allow the transfer of $30 million of city funds to the Sewage and Water Board to allow the funding of the substation. So if I can pause for a second and just let you marinate on that for a second. I mean, the fact that I'm uttering those words to you this morning makes it a very momentous day, truly is. And this didn't happen by accident, obviously, right? We've been on this journey for a long, long time. I know the conversation about the substation has been going on for years, but it took really a lot of stars to align, leadership that made infrastructure, specifically power, a critical focus of theirs, whether it's the mayor, who made it clear from day one that infrastructure is top priority for her, the council, you as a board trusted us to bring you a master power plan, and today we are voting on a very, very critical piece to transfer funds from the city to us to allow the substation to actually happen. So it's a great day to celebrate. Obviously, it took a lot of people to get us this far. And if you go back 2 years ago, when we actually sat probably in this room and maybe we're on a Teams call where we actually got the approval for the general superintendent to just commence the project of the C7, C8, which is the site that will house the substation and other components, critical components as part of the West Power Complex. And we were, at that point, we said we're at a point of no return, and failure was not an option. And here we are. So, I mean, again, it took the mayor, it took the city council, it took you, it took a lot of folks on part of the city attorney's office and her staff, been tremendous in developing this, the actual CEA that you'll be voting on. Obviously, the CEO, Gilbert Montano, has been tremendously helpful working through the logistics, you know, the preparation work that he's done to allow for this to happen. So I just don't want that to be overlooked. A lot of partnership, right? And one thing that has to be celebrated, well, this is huge today. It's a huge piece of the puzzle, of a big puzzle, right? But you can't overlook everything else is happening for the substation to actually work in partnership with Entergy, who's going to construct it and own it and operate it for us. You can't overlook every other piece that is also critical, and all together as a unit will allow us to have a modern, reliable power source for the next 50 years. So again, it's an exciting time, exciting day, and I can't thank you enough for your support for this resolution. I do want to mention one thing, that we may hold another meeting next week on the regularly scheduled board meeting, to bring you the actual agreement with Entergy, with the Sewage and Water Board, that sets all the terms as it relates to construction, operation, rates, and everything that involves the substation itself and how we interact again for the next 30 to 50 years. So,
Great.
thank you.
Before discussion, if there is any, do we have a motion to accept the cooperative endeavor agreement 78-2022?
So moved.
Is it second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? No opposition. Public comment, and I'm new in this role, so maybe I'm breaking the rules, but I would like to speak and say that I think this is an extraordinarily important thing. I think this is probably the single most accomplishable goal in terms of public safety that we can think of. This is, something that's broken that we can fix. I compliment the mayor and her team for doing the due diligence to get this done, and the council for working with the mayor on this. And I can't overstate how important this is. This and AMI are coming down the road. But so,
Director Taylor is here.
what?
We just wanted to note that Director Taylor is here.
Oh,
for
I'm
the
sorry.
record.
I was on a roll. Is there any anyway, it's a spectacular day, and the team at the water board have been diligent as well in getting this done. It's been a big lift, and so it's good news. Is there any public comment, since I've said everything I could think of?
No public comment.
Okay. And I'm sorry, is there any other discussion? No, okay. No public comment, all in favor? Do we vote already?
Yeah, we voted already.
I better not ever do this again. Okay, thanks, everybody. Sorry about that. I need to read the sheet that Yolanda gave me. Next up on the agenda is the financial summary update. Gray, would you please give us your presentation?
All right. Good morning, everyone. Appreciate the opportunity to be here with the board, give an update on our March financials. And we continue to stay busy with a fiscal 21 audit. Plan to complete that in the next month. So staying on track there. But just jump in and just give a few highlights. Feel free to ask any questions as we go. Our March revenues, water and sewer is $24.5 million. Our drainage millage, $13.5 million, includes some other revenue, and our operating expenses were $25.1 million in March. So the drainage millage, the property tax that we're first due here in March, so this was a big chunk of what we'll get. And as you may recall, that gets held with the board of liquidation. We draw down on that. Our expenses were favorable to budget right now, but it's early in the year, so we're just going to continue to monitor as we go through the year. Next, on cash collections, we were up in March, 23.8 million. That's water and sewer. April was 22.1 million. So we're seeing some good results on the normal collections. Continuing to outpace the prior year average, which you would expect because of the restart of collections. On our dashboard, just want to highlight a couple of lines. Days cash on hand at the end of March was up from February for both water and sewer, so we're above our minimums there. Line 20 is our uncollected ratio. This, again, is because of collections, is favorable. It's down to 8.5% at the end of March. That's calculated based on the last trailing 12 months, so we're seeing positive results from our collections efforts. Next, on debt, there's really nothing updated there, just kind of standard monthly activity. In capital disbursements, we have $15 million spent in March between the three systems, water, sewer, drainage, and then $27.7 million reimbursed on our grants for the public assistance projects and JIRR, so quite a bit of reimbursements received in March. On customer experience, just want to highlight, continue to see high call volume, 26,533 calls during the month, increase in average wait time. I understand the customer service team is working, with addressing staffing, and we've got a job fair coming up to really tackle some of these positions that we'd like to fill to get the metrics back down to sort of the pre-IDA levels. So continued work in that area. And then I'd like to skip over to the customer accounts. Is the last kind of major area, just to highlight this, just as an update. This is an area we've been working with Cogsdale. We actually have them coming into town next week. Thanks to our customer service chief, we arranged for them to work with us on some kind of aged request, I would call it. We were trying to get a little better data to present, to address some questions, and have additional aging buckets, more information here. But just as we stand at the end of March, we had there 140,000 accounts. Our delinquent active accounts category, which everyone greater than 60 is down 23,902, and the dollars were down 3% from the prior month. So that's favorable. And then on our disputed accounts, they were about flat at the end of March at 2437 relative to February, and that's with closing over 1,000 investigations that come in. So there's a volume that comes in, and continue to monitor the metric, days to close an investigation, which was 53 days at the end of March. So that'll be a continued important metric for us to look at. So after that, it's really just the financials and the rest of the March information. I'm happy to answer any questions. And
I think a point that I want to make sure we don't step on is that the time to close was down to 53 days. That started at 60, if I'm not mistaken.
Pardon me?
It started at 60 to close?
Yeah, it varies, but the last, I think, yesterday was mentioned, about 58.
Mm-hmm.
So each month, so we've seen a positive trend there to see it.
So
60.
we're making progress at closing our disputes faster per unit time. And so we are having a lower number of people in the complaint bucket, and the people in the complaint bucket are getting serviced more quickly.
That's right. That's a metric we talked about. It was, a couple of years ago, it was like 10,000 disputed accounts. So that's right. That is very good progress in that area. We need to continue.
So how many disconnections have occurred as of March 31st?
I have the number back on the dashboard. During the month, we had 1,695 just in March. So you have about 1,700 the month before. The last couple months, 1,700. So really over the last, say, five months, we're averaging at least about 16 to 1,500. It's a good volume, but that ultimately for the non-paying customer, that's important for us to follow through with that commitment so we can get the collections to come.
I think it's important to note that many of those are turned back on shortly after we get their attention, and then we strike a payment plan, and they're back on. We also have to account for a lot of people who get the letter for disconnection actually come to us and avert that by paying or entering into a pay plan. So it's working, obviously in favor of both the utility and the customer.
Yep.
Great. Just a quick question. Going back to the slide that deals with number of calls, what happens to those drop calls?
Yeah, I guess they're not answered, right? The person would have to call back to connect
So
with
they're
the
just
customer
not
service.
lost in the system anyway, or?
Well, I think that's the definition. It's not answered, so the person calls back.
Either they call back, or if they leave a message, we call them back.
Okay.
So
So they're not lost anywhere in the system?
unless they choose not to call again,
Not to call back.
yeah, which is not likely. They're persistent and they call back.
Because there were 8,000 of those, so.
Yeah, quite a few.
A lot of calls. Yeah, any other comments, questions? Great, thanks very much for the presentation. Bringing us now to General Superintendent recommendations, and we're going to proceed to the action items. And General Superintendent Ron Spooner.
Thank you,
present
Mr.
those
Chair.
first. Thank you.
And good morning. board members. Yeah, we have a normal agenda today. Top of the agenda is we have 2 items from environmental audit, and I'm gonna like to ask our Chief Environmental Affairs, Ann Wilson, sorry about that, Ann Wilson, to come up and give a briefing on those 2 items, and she'll give a high-level briefing on the 2 items and the reason why they're on this financial committee. And after the briefing, we will go through the rest of the committee. So Ann, take over resolution. That's resolution R055, 2022, and R059, 2022.
Thank you, Ron. Each year, the Environmental Department, as well as Veolia, our contractor for both the East and West Bank plant, are required by our discharge permits from LDEQ to do an internal audit on the operation of the wastewater treatment plants, as well as our collection system on the East and West Bank. And in 2020, we received a new permit from the state, which changed mid-year to mid-year, our reporting year to calendar year. So instead of coming to the board with a short or a few months in 2020, we held that audit and did it in conjunction with the 2021 audit. So both of the audits in your board documents are for full calendar year. So the things that we look at are the age of the plant, the number of sanitary sewer overflows, permit violations, the training of our operators at the plant, and expansion of our sewer lines, a number of things. Unlike test scores in school where the higher your score, the better you did, in this audit, the higher the score, the more deficiencies that you have. So I'll just briefly outline the scores that we had that were a number of points. So probably the first thing was the age of the plants. Both East and West Bank plants were built in 1974, so there's a calculation for the age of the plant. The other item where we saw some points were permit compliance. So for the West Bank, we had 4 total residual chlorine violations in 2020. We had no permit violations in 2021. And so the corrective action we've done on feeding sodium hypochlorite and treating our effluent with that chemical in order to reduce fecal coliform bacteria has worked very well. The other area identified are sanitary sewer overflows for both the East and West Bank plant. And our networks crews work diligently to respond to sanitary sewer overflows within our 4-hour response time as per the consent decree on the East Bank, and we have adopted the same guidelines for the West Bank so that we are doing line cleaning, line inspection, and manhole inspection according to the consent decree on both East and West Bank. On the East Bank, we had 2 total residual chlorine daily maximum permit violations in 2020, and we had 3 in 2021. And we had 1 for fecal coliform bacteria in 2021. This is a very good report considering that the East Bank plant received major damage following Hurricane Ida, and we were back online with that system within a few days of Hurricane Ida and getting power restored. And we only had the 1 permit violation, the total, the fecal coliform bacteria following the storm. So that was a remarkable team effort with both Veolia and Sewage and Water Board and a lot of personnel to get the plant back online. So both resolutions, number 55 is for the West Bank and number 59 is for the East Bank. And the board, by passing these 2 resolutions, are acknowledging that the audits were performed and assurance that performance of actions are necessary to maintain permit requirements. And as one who looks at that data on a daily basis and sends out emails sometimes at 2 or 3 in the morning, just be reassured that your team is looking at that 24/7, 365 days a year, And so I feel confident, I'm very confident that we are meeting permit limits, and when we don't, we notify LDEQ and make the corrective action in a timely manner. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ann. And the GSO's office is requesting acceptance of approval of these two resolutions under the section of environmental audits, Resolution R055 and R059.
There a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Is there any discussion?
One quick point, going forward, are these gonna be presented through our audit committee? Or is it always just gonna come straight to the board?
It normally would go through audit, however, because we could not have an audit committee, and as you know, we are still awaiting to expand our audit department.
Okay.
We decided we had to bring it through the finance committee just because we were under a deadline.
Okay.
I like that. I'm happy that we.
Question.
Go ahead,
So,
Brian.
so these are internal audits, correct? These are all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So is there a third party that also conducts an environmental audit of both plants?
Veolia, our contractor, periodically conducts audits, but that's internal with our contractor. And I don't believe we've had a third-party audit of our treatment plants or any environmental requirement for the board. I've been here about 9 years. So, but I guess another external audit is when we are inspected by LDEQ or EPA. And when those occur, and they're usually unannounced, we have not had any issues and are able to meet all the requirements from both federal and state agencies. So, okay.
Thank you, Ann.
And just
Any public comment?
Just FYI, we are in constant contact with DEQ and EPA, our regulatory agencies.
All right. Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next item we're taking global, that's our contract awards and renewals. There are two items. And that section is Resolution R063, 2022. That is, okay. So, someone's going to click for me. Thank you. That is for the award of contract 30227. That's Mid-City Basin #1 sewer rehabilitation contract. This is one of our ongoing contracts associated with our EPA Consent Decree program. Two bids were received March 29th of this year, and the lowest responsible and responsive low bid was from Fleming Construction Company in the amount of $4,001,000. The GSO is recommending award of that resolution. Second resolution under contract awards and renewals is associated with a second renewal of contract 3742. That's our cleaning and CCTV inspection of the sanitary sewer mains. That's at scattered sites within Orleans Parish. This is our ongoing maintenance contracts. One of several maintenance contracts that are within our Networks Administration Department utilized to CCTV our various sanitary sewer mains as well as clean those sanitary sewer mains. This is the second renewal for the contract of Atacapa in the amount of $793,750,000. And the funds for this is coming from the O&M budget. So the General Superintendent Office is recommending approval of Resolution R063070 under the Contract Awards and Renewals section.
We have a motion to approve those two. Been moved properly, seconded. Any discussion? Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
No public comment. All in favor, please so signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We now have change orders in global. We'll take those, right?
Yes, sir. The next section in global is our contract change orders. There are 3 items. The first resolution is R036, 2022. That is associated with ratification of change order number 3 of the emergency contract for turbine 4 repairs. This change order, in essence, is really a paperwork to close out all of our expenses associated with emergency repair of turbine number 4. This change order is an amount of $147,092.80. $1,000,000.61, and this would close out all work associated with the emergency repair of turbine number 4. That's resolution R036. The next resolution is R064/2022. Again, this is ratification of change order number 3 for contract 5224. This is also one of our Hurricane Katrina contracts associated with the various repairs of the drainage underpass stations, and these stations are New Carrollton Hospital, Marconi Paris, and Press drainage underpass stations. This is the final change order of this contract, and later on there's going to be an associated final acceptance. This change order is in the amount of $13,407.42 to close out this finalized contract change order number 3 and to close out contract 5224. The last change order associated with resolution R069/2022. This is a time extension change order only. This is for contract 2145, and it's for our water point repair, water service connection, water valve, fire hydrant replacement at various sites in Orleans Parish. Again, this is one of our annual maintenance contracts. It's $0, but we would request an 120-day extension associated with this change order. So the GSO's office is recommending approval of these 3 resolutions associated with the contract change orders.
May we have a motion to approve contract change order resolutions R036/2022, R064/2022, and R069/2022?
So moved.
Second. Moved properly second. Is there any discussion? I'll say this, I'll be glad when we don't have to talk about T4 anymore. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
No public comment. All in favor, please so signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, bringing us to contract amendments. We'll take these in glove vote as well.
Yes, sir. There are 3 contract amendments associated with this section. First one is R046/2022. And all 3 of these contract amendments are associated with the ongoing JIR program, which we participate with Department of Public Works. The first one, R46, is the authorization of contract amendment. This is number 8 between Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and Richard C. Lambert Consultants associated. Again, this is negotiating the fees associated with the various project neighborhoods, RR140, RR56, associated with design fees, construction management, and construction inspection. This change order is in the amount not to exceed $41,171.15. And what we're also doing with these change orders is extending the contract completion date to align with the closeout of DPW's actual contract itself. So, and we're adding 240 days to this contract to bring us to that closeout period. So that's resolution R046. The second resolution is R067. Again, that's water replacement amendment. This is amendment number 4 to the agreement between Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and Integrated Logistical Support Incorporated for design and engineering services associated with the water main replacement program. Again, we've negotiated fees with this consultant relative to construction inspection, and some engineering construction services and administration. This change order is not to exceed $389,007, and these are associated with several neighborhoods, and it's probably 4 or 5 within the boundaries of this contract. So, and the last amendment is amendment R068/2022. Again, it's amendment number 6 between SWBNO and Black and Veatch Incorporated. Again, it is when negotiating these fees relative to design fees, construction administration, and engineering construction services. This amendment is not to exceed $99,072. And that concludes for this section, the 3 amendments associated with the JIR program, Water Main Replacement Program. So General Superintendent is requesting acceptance of these 3 amendments.
Thank you, Vic. May we have a motion to approve contract amendment resolutions R046/2022, R067/2022, and R068/2022?
So moved.
Been moved properly seconded. Is there any discussion? No. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Public comment. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. And we now have Contract final acceptances again in Globo.
Yes, we have 4 final, contract final acceptances. The first one is Resolution R065-2022. Again, this is with the final acceptance and closeout associated with Contract 5224, which change order number 3, which is approved earlier. And this closes out all of the work associated with those 5 drainage underpass stations. And this is all Hurricane Katrina FEMA reimbursable funding. So that's the first resolution, R065. Second resolution is R071. And again, it's a reconciliation final acceptance of contract 30219. This is one of our annual contracts we use in maintenance associated restoration of existing gravity flow sanitary sewers by excavation and replacement from manhole to manhole. There's also CIPP lining from manhole to manhole, and also CIPP line of service lateral. So again, these are our ongoing annual contracts we use to keep this system operational, and so we're closing out this contract, 30219. The third final acceptance is associated with contract 30218. Again, this is the restoration of gravity flow sanitary sewer mains by point repairs. So this contract, the previous one is with mainline replacements where you go pretty much entire block from manhole to manhole. This contract here, associated with resolution R072, is spot repairs within specific sewer line segments. So it's not a full line replacement, but we do have to do repairs from time to time. That's associated with this contract 30218. Then the last contract with a final acceptance is with our ongoing paving, of repaving open cuts and streets, driveways, sidewalks resulting from when we do repairs. Most of these pavings are associated with repairs our crews do on a daily basis. So this contract 8145 is complete, and we are requesting final acceptance of the 4 resolutions associated with these contracts.
All right, may we have a motion to approve the contract final acceptance resolutions R065-2022, R071-2022, R072-2022, and R073-2022?
So moved. Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? No. Any public comment?
No public comment.
No public comment. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ron, nice work as usual. Thank you. We now are going to go to an executive session. We need a motion, may we have a motion, I should say, to enter executive session pursuant to Louisiana RS 42:17A2 to discuss the workman's compensation claim, David Bailey v. Sewage and Water Board, New Orleans, DB 11-261, 949-33. That's quite a number.
So moved.
Been moved.
Second.
Moved properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're going to executive session, please. I think that requires some technology work, right? Wow. We're rolling today. Glad to see you.